morning. Welcome back to the reading of the poem of the Man God, written by Maria Valtorta, Volume 1. Chapter 21. Arrival at Zacharias'House. 1st April 1944. I am now in a mountainous place. They are not high mountains, neither are they just hills. There are ridges and creeks as we see in our Apennines in Tuscany and Umbria. The vegetation is thick and beautiful, and there is plenty of fresh water. That keeps the pastures green and the orchards fruitful. Apple and fig trees are mostly cultivated in the orchards, and grapes near the house. It must be springtime because the grapes are rather big, about the size of vetch grains, and the apple blossoms have already sprung, and they look like so many little green pellets. On top of the fig branches, the first fruits can be seen, still in the embryo stage, but already well formed. The meadows are real soft, multicolored carpets. Sheep are grazing or resting on them, and they look like white spots on the emerald of the grass. Mary, on her donkey, is climbing up a rather well-kept road, probably the main road. She is climbing because the village is higher up and it looks quite tidy. My internal warner says to me, "This place is Hebron." You spoke to me of Montana. I cannot help it. It is indicated to me with this name. I do not know whether Hebron is the whole area or only the village. That is what I hear, and that is what I say. Mary is now entering the village. It is evening. Some women on their doorsteps watch the arrival of the stranger and gossip with one another. Their eyes follow her, and they are not happy until they see her stop in front of one of the prettiest houses in the center of the village, with a kitchen garden in the front and rear, and a well-cultivated orchard around it. The orchard continues into a large meadow that rises and slopes according to the sinuosity of the mountain, and ends in a wood of tall trees, which beyond I do not know where that is. The whole place is surrounded by a hedge of blackberries or wild roses. I cannot tell exactly which, because if you remember, the flowers and leaves of these two thorny hedges are very much alike, and until their branches bear fruit, it is easy to confuse them. In front of the house, that is on the side that skirts the village, the place is enclosed by a low white wall, small low white wall, on top of which there are rows of rose bushes, at present without flowers, but already full of buds. In the center there is an iron gate. It is easily understood that it is the house of a notable of the village, or of a well-to-do family, because everything shows comfort and great order, if not riches and pomp. Mary gets off the donkey and goes to the gate. She looks through the iron bars, but does not see anyone. She endeavors then to make herself heard. A little old woman, who, more curious than the others, has followed her, shows her a strange gadget that is used as a bell. It consists of two pieces of metal balanced on a kind of yoke, at the end of which there is a rope. When the rope is pulled, the two metal pieces strike each other and give the sound of a bell or a gong. Mary pulls the rope, but so gently that there is only a faint tinkling, which no one hears. Then the little old woman, whose face is all nose and slipper chin, and whose tongue is worth 10 put together, gets hold of the rope and pulls it several times with all her might. She makes enough noise to raise a dead man. That's how you do it, woman. Otherwise, how can they hear you? You know, Elizabeth is old, and Zacharias also is old. Now he is also dumb, as well as deaf. Also the two servants are old. Don't you know? Have you ever been here before? Don't you know Zacharias? Are you... Mary is rescued from the deluge of information and questions by a little old man who suddenly appears, panting. He must be a gardener or a farmer, for he is holding a hoe in his hand, and there is a pruning knife tied to his belt. He opens the gate, and Mary enters, thanking the little woman, but leaving her fairly recent question unanswered. What a disappointment for the curious soul. As soon as she is inside, Mary says, "I am Mary of Joachim and Anne from Nazareth. I am your master's cousin." The man bows down and welcomes her. He then calls out in a loud voice, "Sarah! Sarah!" He opens the gate again to let in the donkey that had been left outside. Mary, in fact, to get rid of the persistent little woman, had slipped inside very quickly, and the gardener just as quickly had closed the gate in the face of the gossip. And while taking the donkey in, he exclaims, "Oh, what a great happiness, and what an upheaval to this household! Heaven has granted a child in the barren one. May the Most High be blessed." But 7 months ago, Zacharias came back dumb from Jerusalem. He now makes himself understood by gestures or by writing. Perhaps you already know. My landlady has longed so much for you in this joy and this travail. She always spoke to Sarah about you and would say, "If I only had little Mary with me. I wish she were still in the temple. I would send Zacharias to fetch her." But now the Lord wanted her married to Joseph of Nazareth. She is the only one who can comfort me in my pain and help me to pray to God, because she is so good. And they all miss her in the temple. On the last feast day, the last time I went to Jerusalem with Zacharias to thank the Lord for the child he has given me, her teacher said to me, "The temple seems to be without the cherubim of the glory, since Mary's voice is no longer heard inside these walls." He then shouts again, "Sarah! Sarah! My wife is a little deaf, but come, please, I'll show you the way." This has been a reading from The Poem of the Man God, written by Maria Valtorta, Volume 1, Chapter 21, Arrival at Zacharias'House, Part 1. Thank you for listening. I'll see you tomorrow. May God bless you, and may peace be with you.